Right. So, a short while ago, a good buddy of mine introduced me to Warhammer, and he showed me around, he showed me all his armies, and he said that you can play a shit hot game as well, and I was interested immediately. Thought they looked fucking sick, and I wanted to give it a go. I wanted to paint up my little army and start playing. I went to the closest place I could to pick up just some minis to get started with, and wanted to go with Space Marines first, but the shop that I went to didn't have anything. All they had were these bad boys. These Skitarii guys. I don't know if you can see the Space Marine, but they're a bit smaller. And I had just the fucking worst time trying to paint these guys up. I wasn't having fun, I was getting stressed out, and I couldn't do it. I was fucking terrible. I mean, you can see if you look at them. They are just slapped together. Not great. Look at this guy. I didn't even fucking put his arm on. That's how much I didn't like this one. But that brings me around to now. So, that was a little bit ago. So I sort of painted these three up and was like, fuck this. Too hard, too annoying, too finicky. My hands don't work this way, they don't do it. So I gave up for a bit, until recently, very, very recently, I've been watching a lot of videos on it again, I've been really wanting to play the game. I said, you know what, I'm actually going to go to Games Workshop, I'm going to pick up some Space Marines, and I'm going to give it a go. Properly this time, I'm going to watch loads of videos and see how to actually fucking paint these guys up. Anyway, on to the actual video then. These are all the paints that I used. Didn't use all of them. That's a wet palette that I don't know how to use properly, and that's a disgusting old palette that I use a lot. But you know, it works. Also mixed in a few just regular acrylics that I had around. A few new and old paintbrushes just sitting around. Like I said, this is going to be very limited. I'm very new. So, yeah. So like I said, we started off with some black paint. We just went all around it and covered it. And then we used a surface primer that's grey, and we just tried to like get that airbrush, that Xenopal prime that everyone's raging on about from above. Came out okay, not too bad I suppose. Then we start off with a base of this Cantor blue mixed with a bit of white to give it a bit of lighter colour because it was pretty dark. Thinned it out a little bit, but yeah, you're probably better off thinning it out a bit more than I did. It's a little bit goopy and sloppy. Could have done with thinning it a bit more and using a few more coats, might come out a bit smoother, a bit cleaner, but you know, it did the job. It's okay. So I'm just going around here getting every nook and cranny that I actually want blue, leaving the head, and all the other parts I want a different colour. And I was following a video, like a tutorial, I'll link that below, but it's sort of more of a weathered look. Mine's not going to be anywhere near as good as that, but I sort of like the effect it came out with. Step, I took a blue sponge, just an old blue sponge, ripped it off and dabbed it in some paint and started dabbing it all over the bits of armour that I wanted a bit more colour in. Then I took a nasty old brush and dry brushed some white paint with blue to get like a blue highlight. Just sort of dry brushed all over the armour. Not sure how much it does for this or how well it works, but I mean, it sort of looks cooler. Oh, look at that majestic. Time for the gold. The gold, my favourite part. It's actually not. It's actually fucking really annoying for me, especially because I've not got a steady hand. I'm terrible with this sort of stuff. We're going to do the gold trim, so the chest plate and the pauldrons, the edges. I'm going to get them all nice and glittery. Now, like I said, I've got the worst hand in the world. It's not steady, so I fucked up a lot, and I just went back over the spots in that blue that we made earlier. Just covering basically up the mistakes and going back over them. I'm using the you know, the basic Citadel pack for most of the colours with a few regular acrylics, but I also ordered some army paint or speed paints, metallic ones. I didn't know they were metallic, I just wanted some regular paints, but I accidentally ordered metallic speed paints, so I thought I'll crack them out, give them a go, see what they look like. And you know what, they turned out alright. I think, to be honest though, if I was to do it again, which I'm going to do it again, I'm building an entire army, I'm going to use more of a bronze look than a gold. I think it looks better in the bronze. I think the gold looks a bit too much. So yeah, finished with the golden trim on the pauldrons. I'm going to use this little emblem here. and also the bottom of the loincloth. Now, I know the loincloth looks a bit fucking stupid and a bit out of place. That's because it is out of place. It's from... I didn't tell you the whole truth earlier. Before this Space Marine set, I picked up a 1000 Sun set, but it looked a bit too fucking mind-boggling for me. But I really liked the look of Black Templars, and I wanted that sort of like loincloth and nighty look. So I just fucking ripped one of the loincloths of the 1000 Suns and sort of mashed it onto this one. I mean, if I'd have done a better job with it, it'd probably look okay. But because basically I like sort of plied and filed it down at some places where that's where it looks a bit goofy. But I mean, it looks okay. Also, so I used a bit of white and black acrylic together, more white obviously, to get this grey kind of bone look. So I do the emblem in the same colour, and I also do the helmet. To be fair, now I'm looking at it, I should have used just a whiter shade for the helmet. I wanted it to be a bit more white, so that the red eyes would pop, but that's fine. It looks okay. Then I take some of that Red Citadel paint, I can't remember the name, sue me, just to dab in some eyes. Like I said, unsteady hands, I had to cover up another mistake, but yeah, it's okay. It looks alright, it's starting to come together a bit. So now it's onto the gun and the sword. So I mixed together some black and white to make a dark grey, more black than anything else, and covered the normal gun parts and the base of the sword on the sides. Okay, so you see how I did the gold on the skull on the sword? You know, I found this spot on the back of the arm later on and went over it in that same bone, and then I looked at the sword and I was like, that skull's completely different colour to every other skull on him, so I had to change that as well. And also it looked kind of goofy being gold, it was too much going around. I thought it looked better in that sort of bone white. And then it's time to get some silver out. I cracked open that silver speed paint and started going on the underbarrel, and then I'll put some on the sword as well. So then I wanted to do this weird thing. I wanted to have like a blue, like sort of cool blue blendy glow to the sword, because I'd seen it on a few other things, and I looked at it afterwards. I was like, it looks alright, but no, not for this model. I swiped that shit off straight away, and then decided to go with this Mephiston red and make some blood instead. I thought that looked a lot better. I'm just gonna drip some on here and then dab some little spots on afterwards. Alright, next up, the leather bits. Just cover them in that Rhinox hide, or whatever you call it, just slap it on there. Trying my best not to get it on any of the armour. And then I'm just gonna go over once to fix any mistakes, you know, mostly with the gold trim. Just cleaning up some of the armour bits there. And it's looking pretty good actually for me. It's looking alright. It's cohesive at least. It's not fucking all over the place like my other ones. But yeah, now on to the shading. So I made a big no-no here. I used this Agrax Earth shade to sort of go over the gold bits, and I also use it on the loincloth to give it a bit more, well, to give it the shade. But the tutorial I was watching said to use like make a brown wash, which probably would have looked a lot better. Possibly because it was more of like a gritty dark kind of like Space Marine. But also I think this Earth shade is not this intended purpose. I mean, it looks okay, but I could have done such a better job if I'd have just taken my time with it instead of trying to, you know, I was cutting corners a bit. Now onto the gun. I just used some black wash, which is basically watered down black acrylic, just really watered down. Just go over the gun barrels and then the handles on the sword. Then there was this technique that he showed me where I mix a bit of gold and silver together and then start highlighting bits of the gold, which actually looks pretty cool. So I just go over a few of the pauldrons and a bit on the chest piece. Then it's on to doing something that I can't remember if it is in the video or not, but I've seen it in a different video where you use a bit of black wash and like a fine brush and start going in like the panels. I think it's called like panel highlighting or something, some shit like that. Basically, panel lining. I don't fucking know. Basically, just take the black wash and go in these little dents in the panels and sort of like deepens the dark look of them. And oh god, the worst part for someone like me, edge highlighting. I know a lot of people don't like it as well, but I mean, let's be honest, it literally does make or break the minute. Doing it like a really good edge highlighting would make it look so good. I mean, I'm fucking terrified of edge highlighting because I'm terrible at it. But yeah, I decided to you know, push myself and actually do the edge highlighting for once and try it out. Do my best. Don't overdo it, don't do too many. I only did a few things here and there just to, you know, try and make it eye-catching. And I think I did okay. I don't think I did too bad. I mean, there are some spots that are a bit thick, as you can see on like the leg plate there where it's a bit too much on the... And now onto the final steps. We're just going to get this base sorted out. I'm just going to slap that technical paint onto the base. It's very muddy. We're just going to get it all covered up. And that paint does not dry fast. That is actual mud, basically. Like, it's fucking nuts. Because what I'm going to do now is take that old brush that we dry brush with earlier and dry brush some like lighter colour on it. I didn't want it that dark. To be fair with you, I wanted to make like a deserty kind of look, but I just didn't get anywhere near it, so I decided to go with this more sort of sloppy, disgusting mud look. And so I dabbed a little bit around the feet. Yeah, it's looking alright, but we're going to do a little bit more. Push it a little bit further. Try to get a cooler look. We're going to take this toothbrush and use the age-old technique of just spraying some dirt around on the feet and the legs. Just make it look a bit more interactive. And then I used a sponge just to dab a bit more on. I think I did too much on that boot, but it looks okay. And then obviously the final step. Gotta paint that rim. Right, so that was my first Space Marine. Let me know how I did. I know it's far from perfect, but I'm quite proud of it. I like it. If you want more videos like this from me, just, you know, obviously let me know. The quality will get better and better. This is just starting out. I've got very little equipment, as you can probably tell. But yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.